Welcome back to the Integrative Therapist, the space where we explore the intersection of nervous system wisdom, emotional healing, and self remembrance. I'm your host, Julie, a holistic therapist, here to walk alongside you through the seasons of your inner and outer world. In each episode, we'll explore practices and perspectives that invite you back home to your body, your intuition, and your calm center, so you can live and lead from a grounded, compassionate place. Just a gentle reminder that the reflections and practices shared here are for educational and self-help purposes only. They're not a substitute for therapy, counseling, or medical care. Everyone's journey is so unique, so take what resonates with you and leave what doesn't, and reach out for professional support in your area if you need it. You are not alone. So let's begin. Take a slow, steady breath in through your nose and a long, unhurried exhale through your mouth. Let your breath soften with your edges, the ones that might still be holding the day together. Notice how your body feels right now. Maybe there's a gentle flutter in your stomach, a tightness across your chest, or a heaviness in your shoulders that you've been carrying without realizing. Whatever is here is welcome. You don't need to change it. Just notice. With each breath, see if you can allow yourself to arrive, not just in this space, but in this moment. Let your awareness move gently through your body. Feel the support beneath you, the ground, the chair, the surface holding you. Notice the rhythm of your breath meeting that support, like waves finding the shore. And if it helps, you can place a hand over your heart or your belly and simply feel the rise and the fall. Your body's quiet reminder that you are here, alive, breathing, and safe enough to pause. Now ask yourself gently, what's one thing my body has been trying to tell me lately? Whether that be through tension, fatigue, heaviness. See if a word, a feeling, or an image arises. There's no need to analyze, just simply listen. Your body always tells the truth. It just speaks in sensations, not sentences. So take one more slow, generous breath. Let it fill you with presence, and let the exhale soften something small within you. So in our last episode, we talked about transitions, how changing light and routines tug on our nervous system, and how gentle rhythms help your body trust again. We reframed rest as biology, not laziness, and practice aligning our days with nature's pace. Today we go a layer deeper. We'll begin to unpack what stress really is in the body, how your system listens for cues of safety, and why cycles often get left unfinished, and the simple ways to complete the loop so calm becomes a rhythm that you can return to at any time. So settle in, and let's begin. So we talk about stress so casually in our day-to-day world. Perhaps you often see the narrative of, oh, I'm so stressed. You know what? This week has just been so stressful. But underneath those words is something much deeper happening in the body. Let's start by redefining what stress really means, not as a feeling, but as a full body conversation. Because stress isn't just an emotion, it's a physiological state, your body's built in survival response designed to protect you. When your nervous system senses threat, whether it's an upcoming deadline or an unexpected change, it mobilizes energy in order to help you survive. Your heart rate increases, your breathing becomes shallow, muscles tense, and cortisol and adrenaline surge throughout your body. This isn't a sign that something's wrong with you. It's your body saying, I care about your safety. But the problem here isn't stress itself. It's when stress becomes constant, when our system doesn't have time or the tools to complete the cycle and to return to calm. So in modern life, most of us are living in what I call half-finished stress responses. They're moments when our body mobilizes into fight, flight, or even freeze, but it never fully returns to safety. It's what we often describe as feeling dysregulated. The threat passes, but our nervous system stays on standby, waiting for a signal that it's okay to let go. When we stay in that braced state for too long, our body starts to forget what calm feels like. It begins to confuse stillness with danger and busyness with safety. Muscles hold tension long after the moment has passed. Breath stays shallow, and rest no longer feels restful. And over time, this constant readiness, it becomes our new normal, a body living on alert even when life is quiet. This chronic activation rewires our baseline. The nervous system starts to treat every day like a potential threat, and the body can no longer tell the difference between a real emergency and a remembered one. And that's where the nervous system comes in. It's a messenger behind every signal, every emotion, and every subtle cue of safety or threat. To understand stress, we have to first understand the language that your body actually speaks. Because you aren't meant to feel calm all the time. You're built to move between activation and rest. Your nervous system flows in natural rhythms. Activation, which is energy, focus, movement, and restoration. Rest, repair, and regulation. And when we suppress one side of that rhythm by pushing through, by holding tension, or by numbing out, we lose a natural balance that keeps us healthy. Stress isn't the enemy, it's a signal. It's the body saying, I need movement or I need recovery. True regulation isn't about staying calm all the time. It's about learning to flow, to rise into activation when life asks for your energy, and to return to restoration when it asks for your presence. That's a dance of the nervous system and the heart of sustainable healing. Here's something powerful to remember. Your body doesn't speak English, it speaks in sensations. It listens for cues of safety or danger moment by moment, in tone of voice, in facial expression, in rhythm, in light, and in breath. Dr. Stephen Porges, through the polyvagal theory, describes this as neuroception. It's your nervous system's subconscious way of scanning the world for safety or threat. It's actually an ancient survival system. It's older than thought, and it asks one simple question 1,000 times a day: am I safe? The fascinating thing is that this process happens long before the thinking brain gets involved. So even subtle cues like the brightness of your phone at night, background noise, a sharp email tone, or a shift in someone's facial expression can activate your survival response without you even realizing it. And when this happens, your body mobilizes. Your heart rate increases, breath becomes shallow, and muscles tense. It's a beautifully designed cascade meant to protect you from danger. But in most cases, you're not in danger. So in a 2018 study published by the Frontiers in Psychology, researchers found that even small environmental stressors like background noise or harsh lighting, they can raise cortisol levels and activate the body's stress response. And other studies, including work by Porges and Debdana, show that the nervous system uses sensory and relational cues, not logic, to decide whether to defend or relax. So, in other words, your physiology is always listening to the world around you and deciding how safe it feels. When those cues become constant, when your days are filled with noise, deadlines, emotional demands, or digital overstimulation, your system simply doesn't have time to return to calm and restoration. It begins to live in defense mode, running on high alert. That's when you might feel wired yet tired, restless yet fatigued. It's as though your body wants to rest, but doesn't quite remember how. This isn't you being too sensitive or overreacting. It's your body doing exactly what it's designed to do, to protect you. Your body isn't overreacting, it's overprotecting. Because somewhere along the way, it stopped receiving consistent messages that it's safe to soften. To feel safe again, your body needs to complete that stress cycle, to move from activation to release and then into rest. This process is deeply physiological. It's not about positive thinking or staying calm. It's about allowing your body to finish what it started, the full arc from mobilization, fight or flight, to resolution, rest and digest. When a stressor arises, your nervous system mobilizes energy to protect you. But if the threat isn't physically resolved, then that energy can get stuck in the body. Psychologists call this an incomplete stress response. It's a term aligned with the work of Dr. Peter Levine in somatic experiencing. He explains that unresolved activation is what keeps the nervous system in a loop of hypervigilance or fatigue. Dr. Levine observed that animals in the wild naturally discharge this activation through shaking, trembling, or movement once that danger is passed, completing the cycle and returning to balance. Humans, on the other hand, often suppress these impulses. We push through, we intellectualize, or distract ourselves, leaving the cycle half finished. That's why your system might still feel on edge long after a stressful event is over. To complete the stress cycle, the body needs movement, breath, and connection. You can't simply think your way to calm. You have to feel your way there. So let's try a simple somatic reset. Take a moment, shake out your hands, roll your shoulders, and let out a big, soft sigh. Even that small physical release can tell your body the danger has passed. Every body finds its own pathway to completion. For some, it might be walking or stretching. For others, it's laughing, crying, dancing, or taking a few deep breaths until you feel your shoulders drop and your body soften. These aren't random acts. They're the language of your nervous system restoring its rhythm. The goal isn't to eliminate stress. That would be impossible. The goal is to simply restore rhythm, to teach your body that activation and relaxation can coexist, and that safety is something you can return to again and again. In a world that rarely slows down, it's so easy to forget that calm isn't something we earn. It's something we remember. It's something we practice. We're often taught that peace comes from productivity and that we must finish everything before we can rest. But your nervous system doesn't operate on deadlines. It operates on cues of safety. And safety isn't found in control. It's found in connection to your breath, your body, and the present moment. Grounding is how we reintroduce safety to a body that's forgotten what it feels like to rest. It's not a one-time act. It's a daily conversation between your body and your environment. From a mindfulness perspective, grounding is a practice of coming home to the now, noticing sensations, sounds, and surroundings without judgment. And research shows that mindfulness based practices lower cortisol, regulate heart rate variability, and strengthen prefrontal activity, the part of our brain that's responsible for emotional regulation and perspective taking. When you ground yourself, you remind your system, I am safe enough to slow down. And that's a foundation for nervous system regulation and for every healing process that follows. So, here are a few gentle practices that may allow you to do a simple stress reset. The first is orient to your environment. So, take a moment to slowly turn your head and take in your surroundings. Notice 3 things that feel neutral or pleasant to look at. This act tells your body, I am here, I am safe. So, another way is to anchor your senses. Feel your feet on the floor. Notice your breath in your chest, the texture of the fabric on your skin. All these sensations pull you out of the mind's storm and back into the body's present. And another one is exhale longer than your inhale. This is so incredibly important. The simple act of exhaling longer activates your vagus nerve. That's your body's built-in calming system. And each slow exhale tells your system, okay, the danger is past. And with time and repetition, your body begins to trust this cue again. Grounding isn't about escaping reality. It's about meeting it differently. It's a practice of coming back to yourself, especially when life can feel chaotic or uncertain. And over time, these micro moments of regulation begin to build resilience, shifting you from reacting to responding and from bracing to belonging. When stress becomes a lifestyle instead of a moment, our bodies start carrying a weight that they were never meant to hold indefinitely. You see, your nervous system was designed to activate and then recover. But when activation never ends, when we move from one deadline, one responsibility, one emotional demand to the next, the system adapts by staying alert. And that constant vigilance comes at a cost. In psychology, we call this allostatic load, the cumulative wear and tear on the body when it's constantly working to stay balanced under stress. And over time, that effort can affect nearly every single system in your body, from hormones and digestion to sleep, immunity, and even mood regulation. Studies show that chronic activation of this stress response is linked to higher inflammation, cognitive fatigue, anxiety, and burnout. And it's not just this emotional exhaustion, it's biological. The body is doing its best to protect you. In this state, the line between surviving and living begins to blur. And you might notice brain fog or forgetfulness, digestive issues, poor or fragmented sleep, emotional reactivity or irritability, and feeling disconnected or numb. None of these mean that something is wrong with you. They're signs of a body doing its best to adapt without enough time to repair. So from a somatic lens, this is what happens when your system gets stuck in the upper end of that window of tolerance. It's a zone where you're technically functioning, but you're not ever fully restoring. The window of tolerance is a term coined by Dr. Dan Siegel to describe the range where your nervous system can stay balanced, able to feel and respond without becoming overwhelmed or shut down. When you're inside this window, you can handle life stressors with flexibility. You might feel anxious, sad, or frustrated, but you can still think clearly, communicate, and you're able to recover after. However, when you move above the window, your system shifts into a hyperarousal state, the fight, flight, or overdrive state, and you may begin to feel restless, tense, reactive, and unable to slow down. When you move below the window, your body slips into a hypoarousal, a kind of shutdown, numbness, or exhausted state. Neither is wrong. They're both protective states, but staying stuck in either end for too long can keep you from truly restoring. And here's the paradox. The longer we stay on, the harder it becomes to rest. Rest can feel foreign, even threatening, because for a system that's lived in motion for so long, stillness can be mistaken for danger. Healing from this doesn't mean removing all levels of stress. That's just not simply realistic. It means creating rhythms of recovery, small intentional pauses that remind our body it's safe to downshift. Because the cost of staying on is disconnection from your body, your presence, and your peace. The invitation of healing is reconnection, a return to rhythm where energy and rest coexist in harmony. Let's take a moment now to notice. Are you in activation or restoration? Because there's no wrong place to be. There's just awareness. If you've been on for too long, let your next breath be an offering of permission. You don't need to earn rest. You just simply need to remember it. Maybe it's not that you're bad at handling stress. Maybe your body has simply been carrying too much for too long, without the space or safety to complete what it started. Many of us were never taught how to listen to our bodies, only how to override them. We were taught to push through, to stay strong, and to hold it all together. But our nervous systems were never built for constant endurance. They were built for rhythm, for movement, and for rest, for expansion and contraction, and for effort and ease. When we begin to understand this, something softens within us. The story changes from what's wrong with me to what happened to my system and what does it need now. That's what self-compassion really is, not indulgence, but awareness. Dr. Kristen Neff, who studied self-compassion for over 2 decades, reminds us, when we give ourselves compassion, we're opening our hearts to ourselves. That openness is what allows healing to begin. In somatic psychology, this is sometimes called co-regulation. It's a process of teaching the body safety through gentle cues of care, whether that be from ourselves or others. It might look like a hand on a heart, a slower breath, or simply naming what you feel without trying to fix it. Each act becomes a new neural message that it's safe to rest here. So take this as your reminder today. You don't have to push harder. You just need to pace better. Calm isn't the absence of chaos. It's a courage to return to yourself within it. And your body isn't the problem. It's a messenger. Every ache, every tension, every wave of fatigue is your system whispering, I need gentleness. And when you begin to meet that whisper with compassion instead of criticism, your body starts to trust again. Healing isn't about becoming someone new. It's about remembering who you were when you're no longer in survival. So take a moment and pause. Perhaps take one hand to your chest and one to your belly. Feel the rise and the fall of your breath. And know that you don't need to fix or change anything. Just notice. And perhaps whisper quietly to yourself, I'm doing the best I can with what I've been carrying. Let your body take that in, not as an idea, but as a truth. Before we close, I want to share something I've been creating behind the scenes. It's called the Stress Reset Toolkit. It's a gentle guide designed to help you understand your stress cycle, complete the stress cycle, and build a personalized calm plan using mind-body tools. You can check this out on my website at www.theintegrativetherapist.ca. So thank you for joining me today and for taking the time to slow down, to breathe, and reconnect with your body's wisdom. Remember, your body isn't the problem, it's a messenger. Every signal, every sensation is an invitation to pause and to listen a little more deeply. Until next time, may you meet yourself with gentleness, breathe deeper, and honor your own rhythm, one breath at a time. Take care, Julie.